All right, so we are up to, I think we're on episode 8 here of the Polisher's Corner. I think we got 7 episodes so far. I think this is going to be number 8. And definitely got 2 interesting people. I think neither one of them wants to be here for this, but nonetheless,
not too bad.
I talked them into it, and they are 2 guys that I find very interesting. And I hadn't planned on doing this. This was kind of on a whim, but I'm glad you guys agreed to do it because you guys are 2 people that I get to look up to in the show scene. So I know who you guys are. Why don't you guys introduce who you are, where you're from, what company you're with?
I'm Brett Wright. I'm from Sigourney, Iowa, and I'm with One of a Kind Customs.
And I'm Blake Evans, and I'm with One of a Kind Customs in Sigourney, Iowa.
And what is One of a Kind Customs?
It's kind of just a one-stop shop. We do everything from service work to maintenance. We do custom parts. We polish. We do a little bit of everything.
So chrome, stainless.
Yeah, we carry a lot of roadworks bumpers, visors. We deal for United Pacific. We carry a lot of different lights.
And you guys do a lot of install stuff too.
Yes,
So
we do install stuff. We are a dealer for Hogue Built. We install Hogue Built fenders, visors.
And then you said stacks and stuff too?
Yep.
You guys do all that install stuff in-house?
We do.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of stuff going on in one place. And you guys just built a new shop last year?
It's just coming up on 2 years now.
2 years this year.
Yep.
How big is the place?
It's 80 by 152.
That's a big shop.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yep.
And you guys do polishing and stuff inside there as well.
Yep. We have an automatic wheel polish machine. And we also do hand buffing.
And that's what Blake runs.
Yep.
Yes,
You run the
that's
wheel
Blake
polish.
is our-
I mainly do the wheel polishing machine, and then definitely getting into some more on-hand stuff.
And that's why these guys are here.
Yep.
Is we were actually they're here for the training program.
Mm-hmm.
They signed up for a 3-day program. You guys are 2 days in, and honestly, you guys have been 2 of the fastest learning guys that have been through this program. You guys had a really good solid base because of you guys have been in the show scene for a while.
Yes.
I want to dabble on that for a little bit before we get into what you guys have been learning here in the training program. But why is it that I keep saying you guys have been in the show scene? You guys are with a company that builds some really awesome show trucks.
Yeah. We've got Brubaker Trucking is the family that we have, and we've been fortunate enough to be able to work on some of Ron's trucks and also Daniel's, and just really get into that whole scene. And
So for those of you that don't know, the Brubaker family, you don't have to look far on Google to find them. Like, if you've been to Louisville or you've been to Dallas, or if you got the Shell Rotel calendar last year, you know the Brubaker family. Like, great people. I've seen you guys out at the show circuit for a long time. Like I said, I was always nervous to talk to you guys because, like, I never know when I meet somebody that I consider to be of your guys' caliber. Like, honestly, you guys build some of the coolest stuff. Like, I guess I'm kind of schoolgirl on this, but you guys, it's hard to explain. Like, when I meet people like that, I never know what to expect. And I know you guys understand this as well, because sometimes
absolutely.
they're either really nice or they're really full of themselves because they know what they have, right?
Yes.
And I've never gotten that from you guys, and I've always known Daniel, and I've talked to him a number of times. But you guys, I've seen you guys around at the show. I just never knew you guys were part of the family as well. Like, I never had enough time. You guys are very low drama, low maintenance.
Yes.
Gotta stay behind the scenes. We try to.
Yeah,
So
we
it's
try
like
to.
I never got the time to. You guys didn't hang out in the excuse me, the same social circle that I did.
Right.
Like, I've always seen you guys at shows, but you guys are always quiet and kind of to yourselves. Daniel's a little more boisterous.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, like, he just wasn't in that same social circle I was in. And I always appreciated the stuff you guys build, but I never really got the opportunity to understand who you guys were as a family, that this whole thing was going on. And then when you had contacted me about doing the polishing course, and then I got a chance to talk to Daniel, and I started like putting two and two together a little bit, I was like, these guys are just regular guys. Like, you guys are the kind of people I try to associate with, because I don't like the drama either. It's not fun.
Drama is not good at all. Not good at all.
But then you guys came up for the training course because you guys have had the wheel machine how long?
Just over a year and a
Yeah, I
half
was
now.
gonna say, it's right around a year and a half.
You guys are trying to branch into a one-stop shop for your one-of-a-kind custom. So with that comes being able to polish tanks and boxes. And I know you guys know how to do this. Like, you've been doing it on your show trucks for years.
Just trying to hone some skills. Just trying to perfect some stuff.
A lot of techniques that we weren't familiar with, and we just wanted to get down. So we decided we would, come to the best in the business and learn from you.
I hate when everybody says that. Like, I try hard. Like, I don't feel like I'm even in that top 10 conversation yet. I'd like to be remembered someday, but I don't think it'll ever be for being the best. Like, I know so many great polishers out there, but I appreciate everybody says that. And you guys have been killing it this week. Like, literally every little thing I've told you, you guys have just taken it and excelled at it. Even letting you polish that last wheel while I was finishing up that trailer. I mean, I wasn't standing there right over the top of you, and I could tell, like, it was starting to click. You knew the patterns that we needed to do.
Yep.
Looking at that fuel tank you guys did yesterday, the sanding, when you guys got the sanding and air cleaner today, it was clicking. Like, everything was kind of falling into place.
Yeah.
And it's neat for me to be on this side, on the teaching side, to get to watch people like yourself, especially the ones that are good. Like, you guys were good coming in. And it's going to be cool to see where you guys go. I don't want to say it makes me nervous, but it's like, you guys are going to be polishing a lot of trucks that are going to compete against me. So it's like, it's been fun. Like, you guys are good people. I don't feel bad, like, if we go to a show and you guys wax me a good one, like, I hope so. Like, because then it means I did something right.
You'll be able to pick them apart still.
And I hope you guys pick my stuff apart. I know we joked around about this week. I hope you guys go to some of the shows and look at some of the stuff I've done and be like, Evan slacked on this one. Like, he missed right here. And just, the angle could have been a little better. Like, like I said, I pick my own work apart more than I pick anybody else's stuff apart.
Yeah.
I try to enjoy in the understanding that a lot of people aren't full-time polishers. So to see what they do at a show, like, I can't degrade somebody else for what they do.
Right.
Like, if that's what they know is the best, who am I to judge that?
Right.
And I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Getting to see different stuff that people build is just...
Yeah, I mean, just the stuff that's out there is it's getting crazy. I never know when, when are you going to stop being creative, and, like, the next ideas are just insane. It's not.
Every time I see a new truck build, I'm like, I always thought there couldn't be something new.
Right.
And then I remember last year at Louisville, walking up to your guys' truck and looking at the interior, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is next level.
Yeah, that white really pops in that blue truck. It's crazy.
And everybody was like, I don't know how they can have a white truck. This isn't going to work. And guess what I did in my truck this year? I put white in my truck this year, and everybody said the same thing. And I'm like, dude, my seats are dirty. Like, I don't know if you look close, but my driver's seat's black. It's filthy, but honestly, when I saw you guys did that interior, like, and it wasn't just like the cab or just what you could see from the bunk.
Right.
Like, it was complete, front to back, all the way through. And you guys have a local place you said did that?
No, we actually had that done down at a shop in Texas.
Really?
Out of Texas.
Really?
Yep. It was Truckin' Awesome.
Oh, Chuck and Austin's the one that did
Brad
it.
Barrentine, yep.
Wow. That's crazy.
Did a really good job.
He does a lot of really cool stuff.
He does some really good work, and we really like working with him. He's always been very convenient and easy for us to work with. So
that was the first interior that I saw that I was like, this thing's 100% complete. Like,
he does a good job.
There wasn't anything that wasn't untouched. There wasn't, like, the curtain wasn't still a factory. Like, everything was done.
Yeah, I mean, he went crazy with that one. We got real lucky with it.
And what's the story with that truck? You said that one was a work truck?
It was just a truck that we'd had in our fleet that I just started getting tired and a little worn out, and so we decided just to pull it off the road, and we just rebuilt it from the ground up. Just started over.
Down.
Yep.
That's awesome. I love hearing stories like that. Like, the working show class is probably my favorite class. I have a very deep appreciation for the guys that build the builders class, the guys that build limited trucks, like the guys that are trailering them in. I have a very deep appreciation for the fact that they're building one-of-a-kind trucks. I have a very deep appreciation for the working trucks because that's the bread and butter of my business. I love my show trucks. I love my show truck family. But to see a truck that's been on the road 5-6 years, workhorse, especially in Iowa. You guys got a ton of gravel roads over there. You can keep that gravel road stuff.
That's ridiculous.
Almost everything here is paved. Like, if it's gravel road, it's a back road somewhere. Like, you're going to somebody's hunting shack. Like, everything's paved here. But it's like, your guys' trucks get hammered out there.
Yes.
And what's the primary part of your guys' business? Is the one-of-a-kind customs getting big enough, or is the trucking still the major part?
The trucking side is still the big side of the company. That's where we're running just short of 30 trailers right now, with owner-operators pulling most of them.
And what are the trailers mainly, like, livestock?
Yeah, just
van?
livestock trailers. We have a few low boys that Dad stays pretty busy on, but for the most part, everything's just the livestock trailers. We haul primarily pigs. We do a little bit of cattle.
Of course, Iowa hauling pigs.
Yeah, we stay busy with our pigs.
That's awesome. You said some flatbed work too?
Yeah, yep. Dad, that's all he does now is runs an RGN. He likes to do the oversized stuff. And,
really?
Yep.
That's pretty cool. I didn't realize he was into flatbed. I mean, I knew you guys were doing the livestock. I just didn't realize he was doing flatbed.
He's been doing that for about 3 or 4 years now.
Really?
Yep.
Well, I didn't realize that. Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
If we call it as close to retired as he'll get, I guess.
And he's still driving the yellow truck?
Yep.
So for those of you that are listening, look up Brubaker's truck. You will find images of this truck. It's yellow with a brown stripe. It has orange cutting through it now too, right?
Up on the hood, yep.
But the old pictures that you see are just going to be yellow and brown, right? They were like an old school fat stripe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you see the old pictures are, it's kind of like I don't want to call it a big bird yellow because it was more like a little bit darker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually a Dodge yellow now. We actually changed the shade a little bit, but it's the same color. It's one of Dodge's paint codes that we used.
I'm trying to think of what to compare it to so that people are listening to it can kind of wrap their head around it, but it's more like a sun yellow.
Yeah.
A little bit darker shade than a
Yeah.
sun yellow.
Yeah.
And then it had a big fat brown stripe through it. Now the new one is a more modern brown stripe with orange, not pinstriping, but still a smaller stripe.
Yeah, it's a small, thinner stripe through the hood.
And then it's still got those big bull pipes on it.
Yep.
It's had those on pretty much the entire time, right?
Yeah, most of the time. We had a pair of flat top stacks on it at one point, but that's been years ago, I guess.
Did you have any pictures of it with flat tops on it?
I don't.
I would love to see a picture of that
I'll
thing
have to see what I can find.
with flat tops on it. Because
Find some.
I know we talked about this at dinner, but I would love to see that thing with flat tops on it. Like, to me, in my head, like that truck, because it's flat top, I just always thought if that thing had some flat top pipes on it, or if it had some old school mufflers with like a 6-inch pipes on it,
Yeah.
I just always thought that would complete the look for me. Like, I thought that would look pretty cool. And nothing against the bull hauler pipes. I'm just not a big bull hauler pipe guy. The big turnouts, like it doesn't work for me. I get it. It's a livestock thing, and nothing against my livestock guys, but it's not my taste, and it's not my truck, so it doesn't have to be. But I've always liked that truck as well. Every time I see it out somewhere, it's a sharp looking rig.
Yeah.
And now that I know the story that the frame's been painted
Oh, yeah.
a number of times, let's touch on that for a second. Like, you guys do the show circuit, but you guys still work these trucks hard.
Yeah.
So it's like you had just told me that truck going into, it was Dallas that year. It worked up until like 3 days before you had to leave.
That year, we had pulled it off. It was a couple weeks before, but there's been many shows where we'd pulled it off the road just a few days before the show, and we'd just strip everything down, repaint the frame, and we'd be gone.
It always blows my mind. Like, how many guys always tell me when I'm detailing? I mean, you guys know I do a lot of detailing at the shows now, but how many guys are like, listen, don't wipe the frame, it's still wet. Like, what? It's still wet?
Been there many times.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I drove it here with a wet frame. Like, it's dripping on the highway as I'm rolling. Like, you just don't realize the level that the working class has gotten to.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost turned into a new show class.
It really has.
Like, if you got chip fenders, like, you better cover them up somehow.
Yeah,
like,
Yeah, you can't compete.
yeah, because it's hard to compete even in the working class with chip fenders and stuff like
It's
this.
tough.
I enjoy Show Rotel for the fact that they really show appreciation for the working truck classes. And if you got chip fenders, it's not the end of the world. Like, they want to see that it's been worked. I've always had fun at Show Rotel. But what is your favorite show? Or if you had to put shows in a 1, 2, 3, what's your 3 favorite shows?
I'd probably have to pick Walcott, Louisville, and Dallas. Would probably be my 3 favorite
In that order?
shows. Yeah, Walcott just because it's kind of
hometown
special
show?
to us. It's kind of our hometown show that we've always gone to for just since we were little. We've always been there. We've always gone to it, and
See, I like that.
yeah,
You gotta give some love to the hometown show.
yeah. It's kind of a small show still, but it's still fun. It's,
I bought my cab over from the Walcott show.
Really?
Yep. The guy lived like literally 2 miles away.
Really?
Yep. And I just happened to be there that year that he had it posted for sale.
There you go.
Bought it. My buddy Nick Hannafeld, if you're listening, thank you for that. But we drove out there and he bobtailed it home, and that thing beat the hell out of him the whole way home.
Yeah.
Spring ride all the way up 151. He was about dead by the time we got home. His back had to be killing him, I'm pretty sure, because I drove it to Louisville one year and that was just miserable.
I couldn't even imagine.
So Walcott, Louisville, Dallas. Why Louisville?
It's just the atmosphere. I really like it down there. The trade show part of it's a lot of fun to be able to walk through everything. There's a lot of stuff to see. It's just the atmosphere, really.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of it.
And what about you, Blake?
I'm going to agree with Brett on his 3. I really like Walcott. It's close to home. Just a really good hometown feel. Louisville with, just all the trucks that are there for the show, and then you've got all the vendors. And then, with Dallas, you just got, such a high class of competition.
And air conditioning.
Yeah, and air conditioning.
The air conditioning is such a bonus.
Into August at Dallas, that's always nice.
Yes.
Oh, the first year at Dallas, I worked out in the parking lot for the majority. I didn't realize, bust it, get the trucks inside so you can finish them up inside.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man, that was miserable that first year. I remember it was like 110 degrees, polishing that parking lot. If I set my rouge down on the blacktop, it was a puddle.
Melting.
It was just miserable. Then the second year, I learned that, get everybody polished, get them in the building.
Then detail.
And then every year after that, I tried to get everybody here at my shop first, so that all I had to do was wipe down when I got down there, because I did not want to cut and polish in that parking lot. That was miserable. August in Dallas was a terrible decision. And Dallas always fell on, my anniversary.
Yeah.
So my wife and I, our anniversary was our 10-year. She came along with me to Dallas. Our 11, 12, 13, 14, I was there in Dallas for all those, so I wasn't even home.
Right.
This year was our 15. I hate to say luckily it canceled, but it was like I was going to have to come home early to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think the one year, somebody in my wife's family got married. Or no, my brother got married. I had to leave early because he got married on my anniversary. So I had to leave Dallas. I flew home a night early in Keenan, and the rest of my crew stayed for trophy ceremony the next day because, I like to stay and support my people.
Right.
When it comes to trophy ceremony, we talked about this a little bit tonight too, but I envy the polishers that come in, polish, and leave before trophy ceremony because you don't get to see either the good or the bad.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys don't care. I don't care so much about the trophy as much as I care about the guys that I've done work for. I want to see them get that justification for all their hard work.
Yep.
And I want to be there when they have that smile on their face to give them hugs and be like, congratulations.
Yep.
And when they're pissed off, it's not so much fun either, but at the same time, I like to be there to console them too.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't always work out so great.
No.
You guys had a couple hard losses over the years.
Yeah, we've had a couple of them, but it's still fun just going and being able to compete
It's
and have
awesome to
have
be in
fun.
that conversation.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
So how long have you been, Brett, how long have you been in the trucking, in the customizing and stuff like that?
I mean, we started kind of just doing it small scale as kids, and we've just kind of grown up doing it our whole lives. I'm 27 now, so I guess I've been doing it probably close to 15 years from start to now.
It still blows my mind that you're only 27. Like, for the people that are watching this on YouTube, he's 27.
Yeah.
That blows my mind. And I can't believe you're 33.
Yeah, it's nuts. We're
I get that a
fortunate
lot.
enough to.
Maybe it's because I still feel like I'm young. Like, I'm not anymore. I'm 38, but it's like I still feel like 38's not that old anymore. I remember when my parents turned 40 and I was like, they're old.
Right. That's how I felt too.
And now that I'm getting close to it, I'm like,
That's not so old.
it's not so old anymore. Like, I still feel like the 20-something-year-old people, I'm like, yeah, I can still relate to them. And then I start listening to them and I'm like, I can't relate at all.
It's crazy.
So you've been in it since you were a kid.
Yeah. Just grown up in it my whole life.
And then now you are part of the One of a Kind.
Mm-hmm.
It's your partners in it?
Yeah, it's me, my brother Daniel, and my dad Ron. So,
Okay. Well, that's cool.
Yep, it's the three of us together. So
It's cool that it's stayed a family operation, no matter which way it spins off. It's cool that it's turned into a family deal. Yeah. And I really, when you started telling me that it was going to be like a one-stop shop, hoping to get into... You're hoping to get into painting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the plan. We're planning on starting to get to where we can do some more painting. We have a space that we've purchased where we're going to be able to start doing more painting and maybe hire
I think that's
going to
open a lot of avenues for you.
Yeah.
And
So-
even getting into the polishing. Are you going to kind of take over more of the polishing side?
That's the plan. That's the hope. The wheel machine was great. We realized that, the wheel machine gets a lot of people in there, gets them asking questions about, okay, well, when can you do boxes, tanks, air cleaners? And we realized that there was a demand for that. So
I always tell everybody, I hear that story so many times. Like, everybody's like, oh, I bought a wheel machine because there's a high demand for it in my area. And then they're like, but I don't do tanks and boxes.
Yeah, nobody wants to have just their wheels polished.
Yep. So
we're all looking
I've actually trained, I bet 50 people over the last 6 years that had bought a wheel machine and were like, everybody's coming to me now, they want tanks and boxes.
Yep.
And Joe Clementi, I don't know if he listens to these or not, but he's going to be on one of the future podcasts. Him and I talk about this a lot. There aren't a lot of polishers that work with each other.
Right.
Really?
I always said, like, there's a guy that has a wheel polishing machine. He's on the East Coast. Great guy. All he does is wheels, and he's busy as all get out. He has a local polisher in his area. He sends all of his tanks and boxes to that guy, and he does all the wheels.
Yeah.
Those two are the only two people I know in the entire U.S. that work together because one doesn't want to do wheels, the other one doesn't want to do tanks and boxes.
Yeah.
Like, if they joined forces, they could kill it on that East Coast over there. But there's very few other polishing companies that are willing to work with each other. Like, I work with a lot of people when I go to shows and stuff, but it's pretty rare.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's just something you don't see.
if you got a wheel machine, you're usually hiring somebody shortly after to start doing tanks and boxes because it's just, they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So that'd be pretty cool. So if you're going to branch into that, do you eventually see like a polishing department in the building?
Yeah, I mean, there's possibility for anything. We're just seeing where it goes, I guess. We're
Gonna take a hard run at it
Yeah.
anyways.
I got a feeling it's going to blow up. Like, that area is pretty strong over there.
Yep.
You guys got a big following already. I mean, I know I've joked around about this a number of times, but if you guys start doing marketing, you guys are going to kill that area over there. Like, a lot of people already know you. A lot of people already have a lot of respect for you. And going into this avenue, they already know the caliber of what you guys are capable of.
Yeah.
I feel like getting into the customs, it's going to be a lot like what Davis Brothers has. Like, you guys are going to be like that one-stop shop where you're going to be able to help out a lot of people in your area. Right. And I'm seeing more like custom shops popping up across the country, and I'm kind of excited to see that.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing a lot more better quality trucks everywhere in the country now. Like, you guys know as well as I do, the Midwest has been strong, I feel, for a long time. you always get a couple heavy hitters out of the West Coast, a couple heavy hitters out of the East Coast, and there's a lot of really nice East Coast trucks. You guys ever get over to any of the East Coast shows?
We don't.
We don't.
We don't.
Oh, man.
Don't make it that way very often.
I went to Diesel Truck Nationals, I want to say must have been 3 years in a row. And Diesel Truck Nationals over there, it was like 800 trucks the one year.
Really?
Wow.
And it was like 750 of them were beautiful.
That's
Like,
crazy.
and even the other 50 weren't bad. They were just old and needed some rehab.
Yeah.
It was like Blair Trucking over there. They have got one of the nicest fleets I've seen.
Mhm.
I mean, beautiful trucks. Every one of them's just pristine. And then there's just so many big rides on the East Coast that they just don't show.
Right.
They run hard,
Yeah.
and they've got beautiful rides. They just don't go to shows.
Yeah.
I do enjoy going to Wildwood for the simple fact that a lot of those East Coast guys run to Florida,
Yeah.
and they swing through the Wildwood Truck Show.
Yeah.
They don't usually show. They usually park across the street by the wash and hang out for the
Yeah.
week. So it's like I get to meet a lot of those guys down there. I met Joey Patrizzo down there. Aaron Kimball goes every year, but he's from here in Wisconsin as well. But getting to see a lot of those guys are just
Yeah.
stupid nice with big rides.
Mhm.
Just don't show.
Yeah. It's probably things that you see there that you don't ever get to see at any of the other truck shows.
You ever notice like certain areas the trucks are a certain style?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like Midwest has its own style.
Definitely.
West Coast has a style, East
Yeah.
Coast has a style. When you guys built the blue truck, white frame is something that was strictly East Coast for a long time. Everybody on the East Coast was building white frames back in the day.
Yeah.
It was the, what do they call them, the PA club or whatever. They all built white frames. I loved white frames. Like, I thought that was the hottest thing ever because it was hard to keep clean.
Yes.
And I'm sure you guys know this now, showing it for a year.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you guys at Dallas last year just scrubbing, trying to get that thing ready.
Yeah, white was definitely a bold choice.
Yeah. It was a statement for sure.
So if you had to do it again, would you do it again? Try and talk them out of it?
Probably. I'd probably still do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's super cool, man.
When it's clean,
Yeah.
it looks ridiculously clean.
Yeah.
But getting it clean, that's just
Yeah.
You
the
gotta
tough
have
part.
it perfect.
Yeah. That's what I mean is like, I always thought white was a beautiful choice simply for the fact that, yes, it has to be perfect, but
You
when
know
it
it's
is,
perfect.
the judges look at it and they're like,
Yeah.
this thing's hot.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think is going to be like the next step for you guys? Like, what do you think you guys could do to like top what you've done with this one?
Really, that's kind of hard to say. We really
We always have so many
we
ideas.
don't really know until we just start building them. It's kind of hard.
You guys
to,
set the bar high.
We did. We'd been that truck was a truck we'd wanted to build for a long time, and we just finally decided to do it.
Yeah.
It'd kind of been an idea that we'd had, and just
Yeah.
we really didn't ever had another plan for another truck after that yet.
How many trucks do you guys think you've built over the years?
Probably 7 or 8.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And so you got Ron's truck,
Yeah.
Daniel's.
Daniel had his green truck that he.
Oh yeah, you had the green
Yep,
truck.
the green truck,
Forgot
and we
all
did
about
the
that.
matching trailer to go with it.
I was gonna say the
It was
trailer
the
was
triple axle trailer, and we had single humps on it. and
Yeah. I
We
remember
painted
that.
all the rail, top rail on it, and under the fifth wheel plate.
I remember that now. That
then
truck was cool too.
Daniel had a 1986 359 that was blue and white.
That one I don't
It's
remember.
down at the Petro in Joplin.
Oh,
There's
really?
a picture of it up on the wall down there.
Really?
Yep.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
Dad's yellow truck. We just built a new truck for Dad this year. It's a 2020 heavy haul. It's black with tan and red stripe on it. We haven't hit any shows with it, obviously, because of COVID.
Yeah. Hasn't been nothing this
Yeah.
year.
Then there was
Yellow truck, Daniel.
we built one
Black
for our
truck.
brother Ben. It was white. Our other brother Travis, he had one. It was a 2003 379. It was blue and white.
Blue and white's like
yeah,
theme.
we never
Yeah,
showed that
it's-
one. Ben and Travis never really showed their trucks, but
Been a pretty common theme
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah. Blue and white looks
always
good.
been a lot of blue.
It does. So yeah, we were talking about before the battery died. We were talking about blue and white trucks, and you could. A lot of guys do black trucks. A lot of guys do. I see a lot of red on the show circuit.
We've always tried to use bright colors when we build trucks, between the yellows and on the last truck with the really light blue.
Daniel's
Daniel
green.
did his lime green that he had. We've always tried to keep colors that pop and draw the eye. It's kind of been something we've always tried to do.
That's always one of the big things. Like you guys are a crowd draw. Like I know you kind of stand back and let Daniel do the
do.
deal.
I like to just kind of stand in the background and just watch everybody look
So
at
while
them.
you're people watching, like I enjoy people watching as well. So while you're people watching, like what's the biggest thing you usually see, like people walking past? I'm sure you hear it both ways.
Yeah, you hear it both ways. People either love stuff or they hate them. A lot of times the color, like the lime green, people either absolutely loved it or they hated it. There's just lots of different things that, it's kind of nice to have the unbiased input
Yeah.
sometimes.
Do the guys that hate on it, does that ever get to you?
No.
No.
Everybody has,
Yeah.
different things that make them tick. That's okay.
That stuff doesn't bother me either. Like,
They can like it, or not.
if you don't, good. Keep
Yeah.
walking. Like, you don't
If
have to
everyone
look
liked
at
the same thing, all of our trucks would look the same.
And that's one of the things why I really like Louisville for me, is it's so diverse. Like you will see every color. Yes, you will see a bunch of blacks. You will see a bunch of reds. You will see a bunch of
You do.
I don't even know what other silvers. Yeah, you see a lot of the silvers. And I was just saying after the camera died, of course, but like there's just black's been overplayed for me. Like I'm not a big fan of the black trucks. Barry's truck was the first black one that I was like, all right, so still having battery issues. Hopefully this cures it out. Hopefully this one stays full longer. But like I was saying, Barry's truck was the first black one that I was like, whoa, this is something, like, maybe it was just because it was the purple frame, kind of making it pop and subtle, clean, that kind of stuff. And I've been good friends with the Barrys for a number of years now, but every time I see your guys' truck, it's like, what did they bring this year? It's not hard to find in the crowd. Like, just look for the loudest truck in the crowd. And not even necessarily like, you guys haven't done like big stereos or nothing like that yet.
Nope.
It's just the truck.
Yep.
The truck is just amazing.
I think the craziest part about Daniel's blue truck last year was all the lights, just all the white lights that were with it. I haven't seen it, and just something Brett kind of came up with, and we ran with it, man. That thing was
Tim
lit
Cody,
up.
Keenan, all my guys that I surround myself with can attest to this fact. I said a white frame, white lights would be the craziest thing anybody's ever seen.
Yep.
You guys pulled up, white frame, white lights. I was like, oh my
Nice.
God, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's a cool.
I told
truck.
Keenan last year at Louisville, I'm like, I want to go ask Brubaker if I can go polish on their truck. He's like, no, you're not. He's like, we got a truck in that class already. I'm like, I don't even care. White frame, white lights. Like, I'm going to go touch that thing. At some point in time, I want to be able to say I did something on that truck, because that truck's got a ton of possibility.
Yeah.
If you guys, I seriously think if you guys marketed more, no matter what you guys build, it's going to do great. Like, you guys build next caliber stuff. And honestly, it's the marketing that I think if you guys worked on that, your guys' builds would be next level. I mean, you guys would get a lot more attention just getting your pictures out there and letting people see it. And we joke around that you like being behind the scenes and not in front of the camera, but if you manage to do that, I really think it could take your custom stuff to the next level. I mean, we've talked about this before, like, you want to work with a company that wants to do marketing for you, because a lot of people build stuff because they want to be seen.
Right.
And if they're not going to get seen, they're going to go to somebody else that's going to help them be seen.
They want the attention for sure.
I don't even know if it's so much the attention. as much as people want the recognition
Right.
for the hard
For
work
what
and the
they've
money
done.
they're putting into stuff. I mean, we all know sitting here at this table what it costs to build a truck. Like, I don't know as well as you guys do. I mean, I know what some of the guys I've worked with have spent on trucks, so like I'm familiar with what those bills look
Yeah.
like. But at the same time, like, you guys see what the actual equity is in these things.
Yeah.
And when people don't get any recognition for something they just spent, would you say 250, 300,000 on sometimes?
Possibly, yeah.
I mean, I know some of these guys on the
You
circuit
never
that are
know.
spending that pretty easy.
Yeah.
And it's like when they don't get recognition for it, it's like,
Yeah.
kind of sucks. You sunk a ton of money into something you're not getting anything out of.
Yeah.
The shows don't win you money.
Yeah.
No.
No, it's
That's
all
the
for
one thing
fun.
a lot of people don't
It's just
understand.
pride.
It's for fun.
Exactly.
It's a good marketing tool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but you're not collecting a check with that trophy.
You
I mean,
not.
some shows, of course, you do. Show Rotel.
But there's very few. There's a lot less that don't that do.
yeah, there's very few that do. There's a lot more that don't.
Yeah.
So what's been kind of like the highlight of your career?
I suppose just getting to build, show trucks and be able to go to different shows all over and see the different things at all the different shows. Being able to travel, to Louisville and Dallas, and I mean, just watch people pick apart the trucks and see what people like and what they don't like and what stops people and what doesn't. And
That's my favorite
I
part.
mean, just being able to, see what they like, what the people like.
You ever have anybody talk to you that was like, "What were you thinking building this thing?"
Not really.
No?
I normally try to just kind of stand back and watch.
Have you ever heard Daniel have that
Yeah.
conversation with somebody?
Yeah, he got that a lot with the green truck. There was
Really?
people, everyone either loved it or they hated it.
There was no middle ground.
There really wasn't in between on that.
That's too bad. Because I didn't remember the truck when we first started talking about it, but it's kind of coming back to me a little bit because that thing was pretty loud too. I mean, it had a lot of color going on.
Yeah.
And I think about it now and I'm like, I think I remember that truck. I just didn't look at it crazy close. 'Cause I'm not a green guy.
Right.
Like, I'm not a big fan of green. But like I said, once again, it's one of those things that, like, I remember walking around it. Maybe it was Louisville that year. And I walked around it and I was like, this thing's crazy. Like, crazy nice. But it was like,
Just
it wasn't
not
my
your
color,
color.
so I didn't look at it
Yep.
any closer than that. And I got to stop doing that. Like, I'm now further on in my career, I look at all the trucks and try to appreciate what that truck is versus, I didn't like that color, so I didn't pay much attention to it. Because now it's like, I think back about it and I'm like, I've seen some cool trucks in all my 20 years that I didn't pay enough attention to that I'm like, I kind of remember that truck, but I don't remember that truck at the same time.
Yeah.
Did that one have an interior done on it too?
Yeah, yep, we done a full interior in
What
it.
color was that interior?
We'd painted the dash black. We'd pulled all the dash out. We'd painted it black. It had all green panels. The dash
yeah,
panels
yeah,
were
yeah.
green. And
I think I remember that now. The door panels were green too, right?
Yeah, they were black with green inserts on them.
Yeah. Okay. Did you guys ever see TJ Kunkel's the cattle
Yeah,
pot?
he was down at Dallas. That was
That
the
thing's
first show we
wild,
took him to.
wasn't it? That was the first time I'd seen like 2 splashes of colors other than something you guys did that I was like, whoa, this is bold. But at the
Very.
same time I was like, it's hot.
Yeah, it looked good.
Yeah, that purple and that green it was so a subtle color with a punch color that it was like, this thing's wild. To see it in person, it was crazy. That was cool stuff. I thoroughly enjoy it. And the Conkles are great people too. They're super nice when I met them down at Dallas last year. They were super good to us. Who's your go-to people when you go to the shows? Like, who's the people that you always like try to say hi to?
We always like talking to Brian and Tom Davis.
Davis are good people.
They're always good people to talk
Super
to. Just everybody really, just all the people you've met over the years that you don't get to see all year long until you start to go and do the shows. And
I said winter's the roughest,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it seems like there's nothing from Dallas till Louisville, and you guys get snow and cold like we do. So it's like we're all stuck inside all winter with nothing until Louisville.
Exactly.
We need like a midwinter blowout somewhere,
It's a good idea.
somewhere warm,
Yeah.
so we can all just get out for a minute.
Yeah.
Just
good
make
idea.
it happen.
Somewhere around like January,
Yeah.
just
That'd
get
be
into
awesome.
That's when Wildwood should be.
Yeah.
January.
January, that'd be perfect.
Theirs is always like right after Louisville, and it's like it's still cold here. The one year I left here to go to Wildwood Truck Show, it was 30 below the day I left here.
Oh, wow. I
landed there, it was like 80 above.
Yeah.
And the next day it was 110. So it was like I had 110 degree swing the first day I got there, and then added another 30 degrees onto it for the next day. I lost my voice in 3 days.
That'd be crazy.
It was gone. I would love to see that show in January because I think it'd be nice down in Florida.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That show's always busy anyways. The Farkas family, they're super nice, and everybody wants to be there anyways. They've been very, very welcoming as well. So it's just, I enjoy that show. You guys got to get down there sometime
Yeah,
to the Wildwood
we've always
show.
tried to get down there, and it just never seems to line up with everything.
Yeah.
One of these years we'll make it.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll have to get down there because it's, like I said, it's a hot show. Prepare to be hot.
Yeah.
Prepare to get rained on. Like, but it's one of those, like, I don't want to say non-judged because it's not completely non-judged, but there's just a couple trophies, so it's not the end of the world. But it's like a People's Choice, and then the Farkas, their show choice. It's just cool stuff. Super simple, super laid back. Their little parade they do through town. It's during Bike Week.
Cool.
It's insane.
Cool.
Yeah.
Chad Berry let me drive his truck last year through the Wildwood Parade, and I was like, I was nervous. Like, that truck's too nice to drive. Like, there's a dumpster parked right on a corner. I ended up W-turning to try and get around because the truck's so long I didn't want to hit the curb. Oh my God, I was nervous. It was super crazy. But you guys would love it. It's one of those really picturesque places where, like, you can leave the show and pull out and park just about anywhere and take cool pictures of that.
Right.
Like, I got some really cool pictures on a road not too far from there with Bob Harley's truck. He literally had to put his stacks on the road because their Spanish moss was hanging down so low he didn't ever fit down that road with the giant stacks he's got on his
That's crazy.
needle nose now. But it's beautiful. Those pictures were some of my favorite pictures I ever took. J&L took some cool pictures of their truck on that same road. Spanish moss hanging on both sides. I love the Spanish moss trees. They're really
pretty.
really awesome. So Blake, what is it that you wanted to do in life? Because I know it wasn't polishing.
Man, I don't know. When I was younger, I built custom drum sets for
Really?
really big bands.
Were you a drummer?
Yeah. I
Get
play
outta
drums.
here.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah,
I was
it's
a
crazy.
drummer myself.
Yeah. Did that for a little while. Went into the military for a little bit. I was in the Army.
Aren't you short for a drummer?
Yeah, I'm short. I mean, just like polishing, I got to reach.
That was a cheap shot. It was a cheap shot. I'm sorry.
I can't be as gigantic as you, so it's all good.
You know, honestly, some of the best drummers I ever knew were short.
Yeah.
Really?
Like, everybody ripped on me because I was 6'7".
Yeah,
And
easy for you to reach.
I had to spread my drum set out. Like, everybody had everything all compact and nice and tight.
mine was
I had to
real
stretch
close.
mine out because I was racking my knuckles on everything all the time.
Yeah, I'm lucky. I don't have to deal
So you
with
were
that.
building sets.
Yeah, we were building custom drum sets for a company out of Kansas City. I built all of the Blue Man Group's percussionist drums across their stage.
Really?
Like a lot of pop alternative bands, like Mike and School
Awesome.
Romance, and all sorts of big famous bands, and like the
If you ever get a
mid-2000s.
chance, talk to Kevin Johnson about that from Davis Brothers.
All right. Yeah.
He loves drumming.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, did that. Did the military.
Thank you
Kind
for your
of.
service.
Kind of. Yeah, absolutely. I was lost in life, so I started to sell cars because that's what my dad did forever.
Really?
Sold cars for about 10 years. Just got tired of playing that game, and
I would imagine that'd get old.
yeah. So I said, you know what? I'm leaving Arizona. I'm coming out to Iowa to be with closer to my family and be a part of the one of a kind customs thing.
And you guys are cousins.
Yes. Yep.
Cousins.
We're cousins.
And then basically Brett and Daniel have been doing really good, just trying to find me a spot and where I could be, and we just went with the polishing and kind of taken over from there. So
And we've talked about that. Working with family sometimes can be tough.
Can be
But at the
very
same
tough.
time, it's one of those great things
It
too.
is.
Because great things can happen when people are invested in the success of the family.
Right.
You know, like I work with my sister. I love her to death. We've had some rough days. We've had some really good days. But at the end of the day, like I know she has
She's still gonna be
the
there.
best interest, and she's always there for me. And on days where I'm just having a tough day, she's still right there for me.
Yep.
And that's I feel like you
It's
guys
worth
have
a
the
lot.
same thing.
It is.
I see that the whole time you guys have been here. You guys are supporting each other, trying to like make sure everybody's catching everything, keep pushing each other in the same direction. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's awesome that you're the boss man and still want to like learn alongside your guys.
Yeah,
We
it's
joked around
just
about
kind
that
of
a little
something
bit
we
today.
always. I just feel like it's something that we all should know how, or I should know how to do anything that's going on in the shop.
Anything I expect my employees to do.
I want to know how to do too.
Yeah, because if my employees don't want to do it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And eventually they're going to feel bad that I'm doing it. And if they're not going to feel bad, they're going to quit or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, like, I don't want you to feel bad because I'll do it. Like, I just will.
Yeah.
I know
'Cause
how.
you have to.
I'm going to. Like, business has to go on with or without you, sadly. And customers aren't going to care that you don't want to work today. Like,
Right.
I got to fill that spot for today. It's not always fun, but it's what we do.
Yep.
I think it's cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing where this thing goes for you guys. I'm looking forward to just legitimately seeing where it goes.
Yeah.
Like I told you guys have always been top caliber in my book, and I think there's never been anything wrong with your polishing. So I'm a little nervous that going forward it's gonna be interesting because you guys are very, very talented individuals, and being able to add that to what you guys are already doing and adding on to your one-of-a-kind customs and being able to branch out into the polishing side. And you guys have products, you have the service, you guys have the installs, you guys are building show trucks on top of that. I don't foresee you guys quitting building show trucks anytime soon.
No.
This is going to be something you guys are going to do for a long time.
Yep.
And that's cool too. How old is Ron, if you don't mind me asking?
Like 63.
63? He's still got a big career
Yeah.
ahead of him
Yeah.
yet.
He's still,
I mean,
got a
He's
lot
still
left.
kicking.
He's young yet.
Yeah, he won't ever quit.
You were saying how much he loves it, and
Yeah.
that's just the way it goes, but 63 is young in the trucking industry. I mean, I know, I was just talking to Chris.
He works because he thinks it's fun.
Yeah.
I was just talking to Chris about this a little bit ago. Like, I got a couple old truckers. Dennis Hilliker, I'll use him as an example. I think he's in his 80s.
Yeah.
I love the man. Like, I could sit, like, when he comes in to hang out and just see how I'm doing, like, he lives probably an hour away. And sometimes he just needs to get out of his office. Like, right this year, because of COVID, his kids have kept him out of the office because they want to protect him and that kind of stuff.
Right.
He'll sneak out and come down here. Him and his wife will stop by just to say hi.
Yeah.
I could shut my shop down for the day and just sit and listen to trucker stories with him.
Hopefully his kids aren't watching.
Oh God, I hope they aren't. I hope they're not listening to this. But he's been down here. I'll rat him out. He's been down here twice this year, just to like. I get it. Like, you got to keep your sanity. Your like. He'll just come down and just shoot the breeze. And I think one time he stopped down and brought me a calendar just so he could get out of the house. And like, he stops in and buys some products. Like, his kids use my products, and he'll stop in and pick some stuff up for his kids because his kids can't get down here very often. All of his boys are into truck driving, so he'll come down and pick up soap or come down and pick up hand polish or whatever. And he's just such a nice guy. I love listening to those old truckers. He's in his 80s and still getting out and about.
Yeah.
It's like, I know a lot of drivers that are that age group that are still just hustling.
Yep.
They're still driving because they love it. Of course, we talked about this earlier. Not a lot of guys love it as much as they used to. Like, the golden years aren't there anymore. Everybody that tells me they're going to retire, I tell them to keep your truck.
Yeah.
You're going to be back in it. Because you're going to get sick of sitting at home and looking out your picture window in the front when you could be looking out at a steering wheel.
Exactly.
You can only mow the yard so many times.
Before you try putting a Jake brake on your lawnmower.
Something.
That'd be hilarious.
So what's next? Like, I know you said about the paint. You want to get into doing that, but like, let's just say 10-year plan. What's your 10-year plan?
I suppose just being able to get to where, we can get some more guys in the shop and be able to keep up with more demand, grow, just keep growing everything as much as we can. We want to start being able to do more painting, get that set up where we're doing all of our own painting and doing all that in-house instead of, taking stuff out and having other people do it.
But you're going to have to hire in-house to get painters in-house for that kind of stuff.
But, I mean, that's kind of the goal.
And, like, do you want to try and make the polishing thing? Like, I know I've kind of dabbled on this a little bit before, but is that something you'd like to kind of get Blake to run a crew?
Yeah. I mean, we would love to grow the polishing side of this just as much as we can, you know.
Because your wheel machine seems like it's staying busy, huh?
Yeah.
Just as much as we can for the demands, so.
Yeah. And like I said, I really think that area can support it. And in the short time that you've been doing it, what's like the one thing you see in your area that maybe it's not so much like an untapped market, but like what's the one thing in your area that could probably use some help? Like, is it that your area doesn't have enough of the polishing or enough of the painting or?
There's not very many big truck paint shops in the area. I mean, unless you go to Des Moines or somewhere like that.
Sure.
I mean, that's an hour and a half away from where we're at.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just not any, shops that can handle semis and have a paint booth big enough to do anything.
Honestly,
of
I
that
don't feel like
caliber.
a lot of shops anywhere
No.
can handle big stuff like that.
And
It's difficult.
polishers are another thing that they're just in our area. There's a couple of smaller guys that kind of do it on the side and do it
Yeah.
on their own. But other than that, there's really no full-time polish shops or anything like that.
And you guys have had some of the other polishers through your shop. Is that kind of the main reason that you guys kind of got into it on your own? Was just
It is. Just having the wheel polishing machine was something we knew that would. We had a lot of demand for. People always wanted to get wheels polished,
And especially
not
for you
knowing
guys.
where.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for ourselves.
30 trailers.
Just our fleet.
Yeah, we can keep it pretty busy just
Yeah.
with our own equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just the amount of people that come in that always want boxes done, they want tanks done, they want,
So how
everything
much of the
else.
work right now is your own stuff versus other outside customers coming
We're
in?
about 50-50.
50-50?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're about 50% of our own work and 50% of outside customers.
And you guys don't do any mobile.
No.
You said it's all in-house.
All in-house.
All in-house.
So it's about 50-50 right now, all in-house. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's quite a bit. I mean, you guys got 30 trailers. And then you have, how many trucks total? 6?
Between all of us, there's about 6 or 7.
6 or 7. So that's a lot. I mean, 50-50. Yeah, just doing a quick calculation on that, that's a lot of wheels.
Yeah. It's a lot.
I mean, to keep running through the machine, that's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Machine's always going.
That's awesome. Good for you guys. I'm glad to hear that it's gotten to that point already. And you're only a year and a half in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. The wheel machine, I said this in one of my earlier podcasts that honestly, that's one of the things I wish I would have bought earlier.
Yeah.
I feel like it could have changed the game for me earlier. And we talked about this a little bit today. We dabbled on it while we were talking in the shop that the wheel machine is just, it's a great tool. I don't feel like it's the answer for everything.
It has its place. that's
It has
for
its
sure.
place.
Definitely.
But it was one of those things that like blew my business up.
Yeah.
Like my first wheel machine 10 years ago. Yeah, I think it was 10 years ago. I bought it when I had my first daughter. So 10 years ago, it changed the game for me. Like it allowed me to get wheels done in bulk real fast. It brought in more business, guys that I was turning away trucks back then. Like I did not want to do nasty wheels. Like we sanded some wheels today off the no machine, just on the jig. When the wheels were white and nasty, I just didn't even look at them. I told guys like, listen, there's a machine just north of me here, about 45 minutes. Take it to that guy. He's gonna charge you a lot. When he's done, come back to me for maintenance. I'll charge you $25 a wheel to maintain them. But I just didn't like doing stuff that rough.
Right.
The machine opened that game up for me.
Yeah. The machine takes care of all of that.
It also brought in a lot of nasty tanks and boxes.
Well, and it brings a lot of outside work in for us, just maintenance and service work for customers that are, their truck's already going to be down for a day.
Throw
They
some
might as
fenders
well,
on it.
get
Throw
other
some
things
stacks on it.
fixed. And
Throw a bumper on it. Throw a visor on it.
so
Like,
that's kind of opened up a lot for us. And
It's a great tool.
that's awesome being able to have everything right there. And especially that you guys are competent to be able to put stuff together. And anybody that knows you guys, like I said, I'm beating a dead horse here, but you guys have such nice trucks that somebody's going to say, well, they know how to put a fender on.
Right.
Like they're not questioning you on whether you can do it or not. Do you guys get beat up on like the pricing of your labor and stuff?
Sometimes.
Once in a while?
Yeah. Sometimes it happens, but
I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm different, but like when I go to somebody and I know it's the best or what I feel like is going to be the best, I try not to haggle with people when I feel like I went to them for a reason. Whatever price they tell me, if it's too much, I'm just not going to get it done.
Right.
I don't want to beat them up on their price because I feel like their price was set because it needed to be that price.
Exactly.
That's one thing that's always gotten me. Like,
yeah,
it's weird how it works out.
I get it. We all want to save a buck, but
Right.
sometimes
everyone's
it's
got to
like,
make a living too.
yeah. But some guys are like, they just hammer you on it. It's like, well, I could get it done for $200 over there. Well, then I'll sell you the parts. Take it over there and have it installed. I feel bad. So, what's Louisville? Hopefully Louisville happens this year. You guys are going to show 2 trucks?
Probably just one for sure. I don't know. If
The new one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We might do the second one. We don't know.
It's
yet.
hard showing
Yeah,
2 trucks.
It is.
I mean,
and it's hard to focus enough on. You always end up having one that you don't get enough attention into because you're.
I always feel like the one that doesn't get enough attention, like, that's the one that gets a lot of pictures, and it's like,
Yeah.
don't take a picture from this side.
We always like just taking one because then you
can focus hard on it.
harder on one.
Yeah, and especially for the big shows, like, it's a lot more work than most people understand. It's Dallas. Dallas is nuts. Like, you can have a full crew of 6 people. How many guys did you guys have cleaning at Dallas last year?
Oh, there's probably 5 or 6 of us.
I was gonna say there was quite a crew.
Yeah, there's quite a few of us.
And you guys had that thing like ridiculously clean. I mean, white frame, it was hard, but like I slid under it that last morning and just wiped a couple spots that I saw, and you guys probably didn't even know until I told you this week.
Yeah.
But it was like I just saw a couple spots out in the open, and I was like, I know how it gets. Like, you look at the same truck
you look
for
at it
like
over and over.
30, 40 hours, and it's like, I don't see anything anymore. And it was like right in a spot that was right out in the open, and I'm like, I'm sure they've wiped around this 100 times and just didn't think to like tuck a finger in here. And it was like, I wiped in there, and it was just, I shouldn't be wiping on this truck, but I'm going to. And I kept it quiet and just did my thing, and just, I was happy to see that when they stuck their hand in there and it came out clean. I was like, that makes me feel good, because I had a feeling that's where the judges were going. And when I was watching judging and I saw it happen, I was like, whoa, it came out clean. I feel a little bit better about that. Yeah. Now, I'm interested to see what happens at Louisville this year. Like, I know a lot of guys that built trucks for Louisville this year. Of course, COVID, Louisville didn't happen. A lot of guys parked them and just
we have one sitting at home in the shed right now.
Just have had them sitting all year. There's going to be a ton of limited trucks next year. Like, and I talked to Bud. Bud said now that the stadium's gone, I think he said they have more use of that parking lot, so they can kind of stretch it out and expand it, make it look a little nicer. They can move the trucks, separate them apart a little bit more.
That'll be exciting.
That'd be good.
I said, could you imagine like 200 trucks show up to Louisville next year?
I mean, there's a good possibility of it.
That's what I mean. It's like everybody's so pent up and stuck in the house this year.
Everyone's gonna be ready to go.
Could you imagine 200 trucks in that giant lot? Like, that'd be the craziest thing you've ever seen.
It's gonna be cool.
I'm
Hope they do it.
hope it happens. Hope it happens. I'm hoping that all this nightmare goes away, or at least finds some kind of level of normal that we can all kind of get
used to.
Get back to something. I hope it's not the mask deal. Everybody's got their own opinion about that, but I hope that at least the outdoor events, like Louisville being outdoors, if we got to wear a mask indoors, fine. I can walk around the vendor areas wearing a mask if I have to. I really hope we can have the outside part. Let the guys get their trucks out, display them, see what happens next year. I'm really...
Going with a bigger lot, they might be able to spread them out more.
Could you imagine if every truck got 10 feet in between them to kind of spread it out and open it up? Did you be able to take pictures? People would be able to walk through there. It'd be
great.
It'd be nice.
Yeah,
it would.
And not that it's been bad.
No.
No.
I mean, it's always like nice.
Yeah, I mean, there's always been.
But if you had extra room to get better pictures, the magazine guys would be able to get better pictures. I think it'd be really awesome to see 10 feet of gap in between each
Really
truck.
good
200
setup.
trucks with 10 feet of gap out there. That
Oh, yeah.
lot would be full.
Yeah.
Huge.
That'd be cool to see. I don't
Awesome.
remember how many guys there was there last year. I want to say it was over 100 trucks last year.
I think they said like 150 or 140. I don't
I don't
remember.
remember.
It was a lot of trucks.
there's quite a
That
few.
lot was packed.
Yeah.
When Tim Cody rolled in, he was the last one rolled in, and it was like they had to squeeze him in to get him in. It was packed. I was happy to see that, and it's always such a high caliber show. You got 150 trucks, and it's the best in the country.
Yeah.
It's just wild. So you've been all over the place, all over the country, but you've been in Iowa your whole life?
Yeah, I've lived in Iowa my whole life.
That's crazy. I enjoy driving through Iowa. I've never really spent enough time to enjoy it.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot going on there, but
It's nice.
it's nice and quiet at least.
Where's the best place you've been?
I don't know, man. I used to spend a lot of time in Las Vegas. So, Vegas is always fun. You can't go wrong with Vegas.
I enjoy vacationing in Vegas.
Yeah.
For
I
a
could
couple
never
days.
live
Yeah.
in Vegas.
A couple days in Vegas is plenty.
I don't know. Maybe it's because you guys have been here now for a while, and you guys see it's a super small town.
Mhm.
Yep.
And I grew up in an even smaller town. I've never been able to I enjoy big cities, like
Visiting them.
going and visiting.
Yeah.
I could never live in a big city.
Yeah.
It's
It's
just
not
too
fun.
much action, too much drama, too much stuff going on.
It's not fun. I prefer, since I moved to Iowa and being in a small town of like 2,000 people, I'd much rather be in that small town.
Really?
Yep. Yep.
That's nice to hear because I talk to a lot of people from big cities and they're like, I don't know how you live with having to drive somewhere to go eat.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's nice, it's
Yeah.
quiet.
Yep.
Like I enjoy the quiet. It's just nice.
Peaceful for sure.
That's too awesome. Well, I really look forward to seeing that truck. I really hope Louisville happens.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the truck. And now that I've gotten to know you guys a lot better this week,
Oh yeah.
I really look forward to being able to see you guys when we go to the shows and
Definitely.
get and hang out with you guys and spend time with you guys and
Yep.
Compete a little bit.
yeah, yeah. And so now
Try
that
this
we've
again.
changed camera, got to. Oh god,
Is
this
this
is
the
terrible.
fourth or the fifth time?
Well, we went through 4 batteries.
Yeah.
We're gonna
On the
find
other
a different
camera.
producer.
I'm gonna have to fire my producer. Is
Yeah.
what I'm gonna have to do. But here it is, the last part of it, and I'll get you guys out of here because I know you don't want to do it anyways. But the last part of it is I let you guys open the questions up.
Okay.
And Blake, you got a great one. We've said it once already, but since the battery died, it didn't catch it. So I'll let you say it again.
In the next 10 years, where do you see yourself in your business?
I always told my wife that if I could make it happen before I was 40, I would make it happen. If I didn't, I would let the dream die. The dream for myself was to have a bigger shop, expand my product sales, be able to do something bigger with what I'm doing. It kind of scared me. I had seen a lot of other polishers older in age that all they did was polishing and they were stuck. They just weren't getting there. And hearing you guys talking about installing stuff and all that stuff, it was huge for me. And I'll say the big game changer for me was Vicky, I think her last name's Hendon, from Danny's Big Rig Resort in Arizona. Shout out to Danny's. She had flew me out a few years back to train her polishing crew, and when I flew in, it was the first thing that blew my mind. Like, oh, what is this place? Like, I walked in there, she has a diner, a chrome shop, she sells showers. They have a paid parking lot. Not just anybody's allowed in the parking lot. They have a polishing department, a tire shop, a service shop, truck wash. And you walk in this place, she calls it a big rig resort. It's like a spa for trucks. And it simply is. I mean, it's an amazing place to go into. And when I saw that, I was like, I am headed on the wrong path. I need to figure this out. I need to figure out what I'm doing. I need to do something bigger. I was thinking way too small fish. I need to figure this out. And my 10-year plan at that point in time was, I told my wife, I said, I would like to have a bigger building with a truck wash. I miss the truck wash. Even washing your guys' pickup today, I love it. Like, it's one thing I just enjoy. And maybe it's just because it's something different again, but it's one of those things that, like, I thoroughly enjoy. I would like to have detail bays. I'd like to have polish bays because I don't ever want to lose the polishing. You guys see it. Like, I truly enjoy polishing.
Yeah,
like,
you're passionate about it.
It's one of my passions. I've learned a lot about it. I enjoy it. I don't feel like I work every day. It's great. But I'd also like to expand my polishing line and detailing line. My sister works for me full time. I want to be able to ensure that she has a place to retire from.
Yeah.
I'd like her to have the 401k, the benefits, and all that stuff. I'd like her to have her own warehouse that she can be shipping product out of. And hearing you guys talk about installs and stuff, it's kind of got my gears moving a little bit. I don't know if I could make a shop work out of what I'd like to do, but at the same time, like, I wouldn't mind installing some fenders once in a while or replacing somebody's bumper, but I don't know if I'm ready for that. I'm not a mechanic.
Right.
I bust more knuckles trying to pull steps off a truck than I do anything else. I'm terrible in that department, but I've talked to Vicky a number of times. She's been an amazing outlet for me, and she's super nice. But if you ever get a chance to see Danny's Big Rig Resort, check it out. Like, I'm telling you, that place is crazy. There's so much going on, but it's the most fluid thing you'll ever see. Like, it's very smooth. Her daughter works for her full time. It's a very family orientated business. It's really cool atmosphere, really cool place to be. And for me, the 10-year plan was to make that happen before I was 40. I'm 38 right now, so I got a year and a half to make that happen.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping to make that a reality within the next year and a half here. Because I don't like letting dreams die out.
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys that likes to see things through, and this is one of those things that, like, I don't see many polishers finding a way to retire.
Yeah.
And since polishing is the one thing that I'm, like, very, very passionate about, I still don't see a way for a polisher to retire that isn't doing something else as well. And I'm not talking about drugs, like making meth or something in the backyard. I'm talking about guys that are doing something else. I see some of the old timers selling chrome. I see some of the old timers making their own hand polishes and selling that. And now that I've been selling product for the better part of 8 years now, and now with my own product line this year, I see the benefits of doing my own, and seeing a possible light at the end of the tunnel that, you know, maybe someday, if this product thing works out well enough, maybe I can retire. Retirement's an actual possibility if I can keep this thing going until I get to that point. I have something substantial I could sell then at that point. I hope that answers the question.
No, I mean, that's pretty good. I appreciate it.
But that's where I'm at. Yeah. That's where I want to be. I hope I can get there. I'm working hard to make that happen, and I'm honestly looking forward to having some truck shows. Like, I just want to get back out and do.
Definitely.
I'm a decent polisher, but I'm a very good marketer. Like, I want to be able to see my product that we've developed and put together being used by people like yourself at a show.
It'll take off. It'll be out there.
I think it's going to make a big difference.
Whoever hasn't used it, they'll want to once they've tried it.
And once they see guys like you guys using it, like, that's going to be that's always been the big motivator. Like, even when I was with the previous company, like, when they started seeing other people using it, especially people of your status, they wanted to use the same stuff you were using. And that's why I feel like I've had a really good launch this year.
Yeah.
Like
Well, you made a good quality product, and that goes a long ways.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
awesome.
you guys saying that because I know you guys have used it here here lately. I'm excited to have you guys take some home and
Yeah.
see what you think when you get home.
Us too.
Play with it for a while and see what you think. But I'm really interested to see how next year plays out when, fingers crossed, we get some shows and get some people using it and get some other people in the show circuit seeing you guys using it, seeing us using it, seeing how easy it is to use, the quality of it, and then people going, I need to figure this out. I need to see what they're doing over there. And
Yep.
when you guys are, of course, winning like you always do, it's going to be one of those things like everybody wants to know what the winners you're using. And I've been fortunate to be in that conversation for a number of years with a lot of the people we've associated ourselves with. And you guys are always right there too. I mean, so yeah, 10 years, hoping everything keeps headed in the direction it's headed.
It'll be killer.
I'm looking forward to it. You're up.
I'm up. Maybe I'll keep it easy for you on this one. What's some of the craziest things you've had to polish?
Oh man, I've had a lot of really cool stuff. Just recently, I polished a air panel from the Gimli glider. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. History Channel did a documentary on it.
Really?
Crazy story. Guy, Canadian airplane. The pilot just happened to be a glider pilot in his personal life. The plane ran out of fuel, malfunctioned, and he literally had to glide this thing in. If that pilot hadn't been a glider,
Yeah.
Really?
that plane probably would have crashed and killed a ton of people.
Crazy.
He managed to land it. The plane has now been decommissioned, and one of our local collectors here bought a piece of the
Really?
two window panels,
Okay.
and they brought it to me to polish, and I was like, this is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I did the best I could with it. The guy was super happy. He just sent me pictures the other day of it hanging on his wall in his house, and it looks awesome.
Awesome.
I just polished some titanium blades out of an airplane. Probably the coolest thing I ever did was an all aluminum base. It was an Alcoa old aluminum base off a riverboat.
Really?
And that was probably the coolest thing I've ever done because the guy brought it to me. There was only ever 3 other ones known to be polished in the world.
Really?
One of them got wrecked during the polishing process.
Yeah.
The other 2 were in museums. This guy was actually going to polish it and play it. All the documentation, all the research I could find, it was like 1920s.
Really?
Wow.
They made these aluminum bases just for riverboats, and they took like 60 grit sandpaper and swirled it on there and then painted them to make them look like they were wood still.
Huh.
Because on a riverboat, it's all humidity and
Right.
the moisture would wreck the actual wood bases,
Yeah.
right? So Alcoa was commissioned to make all aluminum ones
Really?
so that they could use them on the riverboats and not have to replace them
That is
every
pretty neat.
few years. And this guy brought it to me and he's like, I don't know if you can do this. And I'm like, I don't know if I could do this either.
Yeah.
And my sister and I, like, I was a drummer. I love music. I have a very deep appreciation for music. My sister, she was in band as well. She has a very deep appreciation for music. And it was funny, like, she stayed after hours to help me do this thing because she wanted to be able to have a part in this thing.
History.
It was. It was literally a piece of our company history too. And my sister, it was cool that my sister and I got the bond on that.
Yeah.
Like, she held it so that it didn't fall off the cradle for me.
Yeah.
But it was like, it had 60 grit scratches on it. I mean, you guys worked with me
Yeah.
sanding this week. And the reason why most of these, like, when people try to polish them, they wreck them. Like, I know there's 2 other stories of 2 other ones trying to be polished, but they sanded through them and wrecked them. This guy knew it wasn't going to be perfect. He wanted it mirror polished, but he knew if I took all the scratches out, it was going to change the sound of it. So my sister and I, my hearing isn't great from all the years holding a grinder. So my sister and I sanded it, and while I was sanding it, we had to listen for the tone of the sander to change so that we didn't change the sound of the bass, right?
Really?
And then they were going to get it restrung and rewooded and refretted. The whole thing was going to be crazy done when he got done with it.
Nuts.
So her and I sanded this thing out. It took me almost 2 days to do it. We polished it back out. This thing was beautiful. I mean, absolutely crazy. I'll show you guys some pictures after this if you want to see them. But
I do.
it's crazy awesome. And the guy came to pick it up, and he was blown away. And we looked at some of the museum picture pieces, and it was like the one museum one is really, really good. Like a museum quality polisher polished it. It can't be played anymore because it doesn't sound right.
Right.
Beautiful piece,
Yeah.
but it's going to sit in a glass case for the rest of its life, and it's never going to get played again.
Mm-hmm.
This guy actually takes his and plays it on a regular basis.
Really?
So like they had a Christmas concert here for charity,
Mm-hmm.
and he invited me and my whole family. He got us like 10 or 12 tickets to come
Yeah.
see it. So I invited a bunch of my friends. It was like, this is awesome. So we got there, and I was like, it was under a case, like under a cover, and he gets to his part where he's got to grab it to start playing it, and he pulls it out of his sleeve. It was the craziest thing you've ever seen. It was like, I polished that thing, you know? And it was like, my parents saw it, my sister saw it, my brother saw it, a couple of my other friends that went to the show, they saw it, and they were all like, this thing is nuts. So we talked to the guy after the show, and he's like, you're not going to believe this, but you know the laser light show that happened during the show? I'm like, yeah. He's like, we actually had to adjust the laser light show because it was shining like certain seats really hard. Like, it was a bad deal.
Wow. That's when you know it's good.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. I polished my AR.
Yeah.
Like, I had my buddy Bundy. He builds my guns for me. I had him find some bare aluminum pieces so that I could polish up my AR and make it look pretty cool. I have a polished pistol, Taurus 9mm. That it was kind of fun doing that thing too. We did a big copper kettle, like something out of the 1600s. Like this thing was bigger around than you could grab. That lady was the same lady that had me polish the air turbine. She showed me a picture of that copper kettle. It's got a table. She turned it into a table.
Really?
Super cool.
That's cool.
It was like an old family cooking pot.
Yeah.
Like something that he used for making giant stews back in the day. It was pretty cool. So we've gotten to do a lot of really cool stuff. But I love the trucks.
Yep.
Definitely love all the trucks. But the neat stuff that comes through the shop. I mean, you guys even saw John dropped off a little fuel tank for a hot rod. Probably one of the other top things I've ever gotten to polish was a good friend of ours. He makes custom stainless pieces. And he made these legs about this big around, probably 6 inches by 6 inches, maybe 8 inches by 8 inches. And they were about 2.5, maybe 3 feet tall. Here he turned it into a table. He had these polished stainless steel legs and a big butcher block table for his kitchen table.
That's awesome.
I was just at his house maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and he showed me this thing, and I walked in and was like, I need this in my house. Like,
Cool.
when my kids get a little older, I'm definitely going to invest my money into some of these custom pieces like that for my house. Cause,
Gotta wait for the kids to be older.
they'd die smashing your head into something like that right now.
Yeah.
But well, I appreciate you guys being on. I appreciate you guys
having us.
muscling through the battery
It's
issues.
been a fun week.
Batteries.
But we got one more day of training. I'm looking forward to, I call it grill day tomorrow,
Yeah.
because grill day usually takes 3 to 4 hours to get through, and everybody's usually sore by grill day. Everybody's tired and not wanting to lift over their head to do it. But I'm interested to see I'm sure you guys are going to finish strong, and you guys have killed everything I've thrown at you so far. I'm looking forward to recapping a lot of the other stuff, the fuel tank.
Yeah.
You guys polished an end cap this week and didn't leave lines in it. Like,
It's good teaching.
Yeah.
you guys got to be proud in that. Like, it makes me proud seeing you guys do it, because you guys listened to everything I threw to you. You guys made it work, made it happen, and I appreciate everybody saying how grateful they are that I help them out. But at the end of the day, it's you guys doing it, and like I said, it's cool for me to see you guys actually doing it.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you guys. Been a good time. I appreciate you guys doing this.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't checked it out, One of a Kind Customs on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. So check out One of a Kind Customs on Instagram. If you haven't found Brubaker Trucking yet, definitely look them up as well.
Yep.
We got Brett and Blake here. Definitely check the Brubaker family out. They're super nice. Definitely worth stopping by their truck and having a conversation with them. If you don't know where their truck is, look for the loudest truck in the parking lot. Not based on sound, because you'll end up by Davis Brothers trucks, Tim Cody's truck, or Roadworks truck.
Yep.
I'm talking the loudest colors, because they stand out in the crowd. You could park them in a loaded parking lot and at any truck stop anywhere, and you'll find them. And you don't want to miss it. Definitely check it out. Thank you guys for stopping by.
Yep.
And I can't wait till you guys actually listen to this thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully this breaks you guys off into a podcast.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. So, cool, man.
Appreciate you.
Yep.
Till next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.